this is we're not necessarily going. I mean, we may do this again next week. I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on this week. A lot of stuff going on. This is the final week of the regular season. For when I say everybody, it is some. I'll go over a couple of conference tournaments for some of the private schools, and so everybody they're in the state playoffs next week for the private schools, and the public schools is going to be into their conference tournaments. All right, but I know I got so many phone calls on Friday. I want to say that, hey, what's it? I don't know what day. Okay, this is Sunday. Yeah, on Friday because of what happened on Thursday night. Hey, and I know high school OT. It was all over Twitter. I even got a phone call yesterday, and I was talking to. I mean, I will tell you now that I'm going to discuss this. I wanted to have a video to show everybody because a lot of people are asking. Some of you all had games on other places, but everybody has an opinion, asking you what your opinion is on situations. They do it all the time. When I go to the game, now those who know me will come. They look at me sometimes. Hey, would you do something on the court? And most of the time I give them a head nod. Look, that's the right call. That's it. But I will tell you, as we get down, and this is the fun, probably the most fun part of the season, because emotions are high than most, and everybody's trying to jockey for positions, qualify for the state playoffs, solidify their positions in the state playoffs, and other things. But we're gonna get back to the incident when I say that happened. But first, I want to preface it. A couple of emails from I'm gonna hopefully tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get out early to these different places. I'm gonna go meet a couple of ADs and the county AD here from Cumberland County, and I also got to talk to the Robeson County and the Simpson County ADs about a couple of things that's going on. And one of them is I get phone calls from school personnel. I get phone calls from parents. I don't ask how they get my number. It don't really matter. If I'm on the phone, they call me, I'm gonna call them back. I'm talking to them. Sometimes I don't hold it against someone for not knowing the rules, for not being informed. Everybody has a right to be incorrect. I mean, sometimes we get to where, hey, I don't have to be right. People got their opinion, and that's what it is. I mean, but when someone makes egregious statements or makes something that's out of the way, sometimes I'm in my position. I have to put them in lack of a better term, have to check them. All right. And that's what I do. I don't expect you to do that on the floor at those nights or anything like that. A lot of things are being said and stuff them because we're not being consistent on the floor. When I say that, a couple of things before we get into some particular incidents. When someone uses profanity, if it's public, I will tell you, there's no such thing as a disqualification for profanity. Profanity is an ejection. That's not, it may be a bad rule, but it's a rule. In North Carolina, that is an ejection, and because we have what we call zero tolerance. Okay, and I'll send some things out, and it's right in, it's in there on the website. And when you do that, it doesn't matter if a coach is in his huddle talking to the players talking to another player. Zero tolerance. We're not looking for it, but when someone says in your presence, I mean, I got an email that I'm addressed to a middle school, and he kind of insinuate, hey, well, the officials there, they was cussing at my player, they were doing this here, they didn't do nothing. I mean, but we're not the only ones. So I'm gonna go again and trying to, and square that away. But again, it's not our responsibility to keep people in the game. All right. This incidental language. If you want to say incidental language as far as, make sure you mute it. If you want to say it's incidental, if somebody on in there, but still, hey, you gotta address it. But anytime it's public, I mean, and when they again, this has been in effect for like 3 or 4 years. I've been supervisor for 4 years now. I mean, so they know it by now. That school, that gym where we're playing at, for the most part, all of it is on the campus. It is a high school, a middle school event. And that means what? That is an extension of the classroom. It's not going to be accepted outside. I mean, inside the classroom, it's not going to be accepted on the playing court. All right. Individuals leaving the bench. I mean, we're going to add that to your pregame. I mean, be prepared. I know in some soccer terms we use mass confrontation. If something happens, hey, for the most part, it's going to be 3 people on the court. If it's 2, hey, we have to take a look at the benches. We have the altercation, wherever that's being handled. We got somebody in on that, you're on that, but you always got to look in your periphery and look and see the people's coming off the bench. Now you're going to use all the tools in your toolbox. That's when we get that settled and we have the book. We ensure that everybody that comes in the game, we have some of them in the game. Some of them in the game by, hey, wave them on. They should know at the table. You can kind of tell in the game when the players just come, we let them just run on. They don't even take in. We want to know that book can help us and say, look, hey, what were the 5 numbers? What was 5 people in the game? We're not going to solely rely just on that. But when things get kind of hectic, you know, and it's altercations, people come from different places, all that, hey, it can get that. We want to make sure we get the bad actors. And hey, when people leave the bench and when it's for a fight, don't worry about how many games they're going to get suspended. That's up to the state. So, you know, if you leave the bench, hey, and it's going to be a fight, and you out there, hey, you're ejected. We had a situation that the other night we didn't do. Hey, we know it, just didn't do it. I mean, because what happens is that individual, that bad actor, he or she didn't become a bad actor just that night, and they probably are not going to stop. We DQ'd that individual. Now she goes out on the court on Tuesday night, sometime this week, and something happens, and they go back, and somebody's going to say, look, that person, they shouldn't have been there anyway. They're going to go back and find out why did we DQ them when they should have been ejected. Because fighting in 4 games. That might be not only the rest of the season for them, because really in high school, in the NCHSA, they play 3 games in a week. Some schools are playing 3 games this week. Some played 3 games last week. And we had one situation where teams played each other a home and away, a home and home series. They played each other on Tuesday and Wednesday. That second game, when you just play somebody that night and you play them the very next night down at your place, it's going to be, that's a tough game to officiate. Okay, so again, it's going to be, they're not practicing. All they're doing really now is playing games. So again, doing your pregame, just know if we have a mass confrontation, if you have this here, let's get in early and let's handle the situation. I mean, let's go in and we talk to them. Hey, early on, we know who the stars are. We know what which is, hey, we got double files, we got double technical files, we got a lot of things we can do. But again, you have your voice, you have the whistle. You can stop play. Hey, you have the coaches, you have captains, all those things. Hey, let's use them to help manage and control the game. So the other email, I would say, yeah, just understand that we treat everyone with dignity and respect. They don't always treat us that way, but we will treat everyone with dignity and respect. I mean, that's not most of the time. That's not some of the time. That's all the time. Okay, I mean, there's no excuse for not doing that. Someone said this person did this here, and I'm getting a lot of things that's been cumulative. What I mean is that, hey, they telling me about an incident happened 2 weeks ago. One guy called. I mean, at some point, I will be able to play some of these phone messages that people leave me. But a lot of times, it's someone telling them to call me. Someone, I'm going to play something back for some of the ADs. Hey, whether they use vitriol or everybody's making these excuses. I will tell you, I will say it over and over again. I don't need more officials. I need better officials. And I say that again, some of you are doing good work, working hard. Hey, on the call tonight, right now we have 76 people on the call. Some people, they do the minimum. If I said, hey, you only had to do 3 clinics, 3 sessions, that's what they'll do. Some people want minimum output. They're gonna input that, but they want what? Maximum reward. Okay, I'm telling you, it's the heart of the season. I mean, the things that we talk about now is it's like recency. And very seldom, I mean, like I say, we have some things that happen that's for the good of the group. Right now, everything it is, I mean, but again, I'm gonna go back this week and look at all before I start doing assignments. We have a championship game at Fayetteville Academy, a JV championship for the boys, a varsity girls championship, and a varsity boys championship. That's this week. So we have regular season games. We have some critical games where we have 5 teams that can be in first place. I mean, it's just that type. We got all these playoff level games. But as we go into the playoffs, I will look at not only your performance on the court, hey, the way you accept, decline games, turn games back, going up on time, getting along with your partners. No, all that is part of a like your total official and a concept as far as, hey, it's like you got to do one thing. Some people just go to clinics, but they show up late to the game, they do this here, do that, and we still haven't gotten that figured out. Still had a situation where at a middle school, and somebody came in late. Look, when you call me, I call the school. I mean, again, we're on a team here. I mean, it's not that I get upset. It's that what bothers me is that if you take 30 minutes to get to the game, 45 minutes to go where you're going, and it's a 4 o'clock game, and it's 3:15, you're going to be late. I mean, simply call your partner. You're going to be late to the game, call me. Think about it, I may have to send you somewhere, ask that you go somewhere else and put somebody else on that game. I mean, they look at us as an association. I'm not going to be, there's no way I'm going to come out looking good, you looking bad. We all going to look bad. All right. Partners there. And that's why we're trying to get everybody professionally developed, trying to get everybody quality games. But now we're going to have a middle school championship in Polk County, in Cumberland County, in Sampson County. I just said, they just added this year, this JV boys championship. It's going to be 2 teams from Wilmington playing at 3:30. Everybody can't be there. I don't want to just put somebody at 3:30 who's just available. I mean, every game is entitled to good officiating. And now it's the best officiating. All right. Some of you are working a lot of games during the week. I take schools playing 3 games, some of you play 3. Last week, this is my 4th year, the first time I used someone more than one person, more than one game, that I had several games, like 5 games where I had someone do JV boys, varsity girls, varsity boys. One individual do 2 JV games and 2 varsity games. And it was noticed by the administration. And they thought that was outstanding, that, hey, not only that individual, but just the association. Again, when you do that, you're not just, you helping me, you helping those kids, you helping the team. I could easily say we don't have enough officials. But hey, you made yourself available. You're doing good work. Those that are doing good work, hey, again, we want to finish strong. Talked to a principal on Saturday night, last night. Had a game at 71st, at Cape Fear. Talking to them, I've convinced some of them are all about, hey, on the championship series, we do these games, we will have set of one crew do 2 games, have a different crew for every game. Even as we go in, and because the teams are very competitive, and they say this person's tired. But guess what? Teams playing 3 games a week, and all these teams are playing 3. Officials are doing some of y'all are doing the same thing, and Brown maintaining a full-time job and everything else. I mean, the other duties that you do, outside of in the home and outside the home. Again, but when you have one game and you can put it all out, I mean, it's the difference. Whether it's a girl game or a boys game. But again, having some good conversation with some of the administrators, and like I say, some not so good. I mean, because again, it's about education. Some they don't know the rules, and you don't have time to give a clinic. When I'm watching the games, I don't ever give a clinic, but sometimes I'm amazed by what they don't know. This week, I published assignments. If you have an assignment, you were shown available, right? I know you're getting things from other assignments this week, right? After this week, next week we're on it. We got on Monday, it'll be some couple games we got to make up. But for the most part, next week, on the week of the 14th, we're going to be playing tournament play, tournament rules, tournament fees, everything. Everything's gonna ratchet up, and I'll ask you to do the same thing. I mean, some of you ask you, it's hard sometimes to bring your A game out every single night during the week, but that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Okay. So one thing about the 14th, around the world, I think it's something called Valentine's Day, right? We know you want to do that. I mean, so hopefully you're all on your best behavior and you kind of do some things early, either this weekend. I will have some games. Right now, it's no game on the 12th. It's going to be. A couple of people told me that over the weekend that, hey, look, Harold, we're going to make up games. I got to coordinate with other schools. We're going to play some games on the 12th. Don't know how many, but they're going to play on the 12th. But the 14th is Valentine's Day. That's the first night of the tournament. Okay. We have, of the conferences, we have the Carolina 1A conference, which there are 6 teams. We're going to have Union and Lakewood that belong to us in that conference. They're probably the 2 bottom feeders. So they won't be playing, but we're going to be officiating. They're going to hold the tournament at Lakewood. When I say holding that tournament at Lakewood, that means some of these players and some of these coaches you haven't seen. Only if you had a game up there, they were there. So sometimes, hey, we know Sampson County is also a mask mandate county. Some of you have shared with me that you prefer not to be there because of mask. I'm honored that. Okay, so again, you have some pre-existing condition, just prefer not to do that. Hey, don't wait till I give you a game, then say I don't want to do it. Okay. But game's going to be there. And that's the Carolina 1A conference. The Waccamaw is a 1A, 2A conference. Now, they're going to hold their tournament at Pender. They have 4 of our teams. It's 6-team conference, 4 of the teams. We have 4 in Columbus County. That's Whiteville, East Columbus, West Columbus, and South Columbus are part of that conference. So their first round games may be the higher seed, and they move the semifinals and the finals over. So we got 4 teams in Columbus County. So somebody's going to be over Columbus County and playing games, at least on Monday night or Tuesday. Southeastern Athletic Conference is the one that encompasses 7 teams in that conference. Clinton, East Bladen, West Bladen, Fairmont, Red Springs, St. Paul's, and Midway. Now they're playing all the way through this week, and the following week they'll be in their conference tournament. They're gonna play the higher seed. They're gonna play their games when they get down to semifinals and the finals. They're gonna be playing at Red Springs. Now, one thing about that, when I look at these matchups, I'm trying to keep where you won't see a team so many times. Why? Because when you get to the tournament, we don't know how I won't be able to put those out because I don't know where the seating are. I can easily say, I want you to work that tournament, but you work them on Friday night or Saturday, and I don't want you to turn around on Monday to have them again. So that's going to be, so the schedule is going to be, I'm going to wait a little bit on, because we're going to, like I said, we got championship games on Friday. Well, I got some games out there, but I'll publish those games probably either tomorrow once I get some more information. I will publish Friday's games. There's going to be some changes during the week as well. The U8, we call it the United 8, it's 8 teams in that conference. And that comprises of Douglasburg, Cape Fear, 71st, Jack Britt, Grays Creek, Lumberton, Pernell Sweat, South. They're going to play their tournament. All-American Conference, E.E. Smith, Terrace Sanford, Westover, Overhills, Pine Forest. We got Hornet, Central, Western Hornet, and Triton in that conference. And we got the Sand Hills, which consists of Scotland, Hope, Pinecrest, Richmond, Lee County, Union Pines, and Southern Lake. All portions of those conferences are going to play higher seed at some point, probably the first round, and maybe even the second round. After that, we're going to go to the general one specific location, whatever the first place teams are. That first place team is going to be different this year because right now we have in the 2A girls, St. Paul's will be a top seed. they've only lost one game. They lost, the only game they lost was to Purnell Sweat Girls, which are undefeated, 18-0, and number 5 in the state. Terry Sanford is #1 girls team in the state East. They haven't lost a game. So our 3 highest rated teams are girls. Then we have Richmond, and we had a plethora of people. I mean, between E.E. Smith, Terry Sanford, Westover, Overhills. So we're gonna have a lot of, well, all the tournament games gonna be that we're gonna have all those games. But even when they get to the playoffs, we should have a great deal of, and that start on the week of the 21st. So we'll start that because our first state playoff game will be on the 22nd. All right. I talked about got one email that's kind of disturbing this because it talked about some people feeling like, out there right now, perception is reality. And they perceive that some people perceive that, hey, the officials are biased against them because of their race. But we hear it all the time, because of different things. And I push back on that because that's what people think, but that's what their reality is. Most of the games that you go to, you'll notice there's some diversity. Because all, hey, when you go to certain areas, hey, that's why this happens. Well, that's why these calls get there. People will find a way to be victimized, no matter what. And I don't really want to identify that because I've never, I've been a victim of my life for anything. The bad things that happen to me, I had something to do with it. I mean, I'm trying to create a culture here of accountability. That, hey, I tell the coaches, I tell the ADs when I meet, have your coaches coach their players, right? If I'm wrong, something that bothers you about the officials or anything you got as pertains to certain plays, you tell me and let me coach the officials. It's easy to say, for me to say it. It's, most time it doesn't happen that way. And we got people calling and making comments and doing different things, but I don't think you can, sometimes you put things out there, like I say, they have to be checked. They have to be like, okay, that's what you're going to do. And if you can't prove it, hey, it's not really the time what you do, it's what you can prove. I mean, I go at it. One guy was saying about the foul count. Hey, look, I was at a game, I've been in the game every day last week, and I don't know, some of them trying to win the foul count, they're trying to win the game. I don't know. It's not equal. Fair and equal is not true. They're not exclusive. They're not the same. Okay. So again, it's not that one team is pressing. You can press without fouling. You can play defense without fouling. But some people think like, hey, if they got 8 fouls on one team, you should have 8 on another. No, that's not true. In the game last night, it was 10-1. Hey, one scheme has got a lot of skill, one doing it differently. But again, I want you to call the game. I want you to officiate every play. All right. It's good to keep, we're trying to, hey, hard fouls. I saw a game with that intentional foul, technical foul. That's what the game needs. That's what it is. I mean, that's what it calls for. And again, when you're talking about support, I'm going to go in there. We're going to talk about this play and what the whole situation and what happened the other night. It's getting a lot of, I guess, stuff on social media and a lot of talked about. But again, some of us are our own worst enemies. I wasn't at the game. I got a phone call. It happened just like it's supposed to. I got a call from the referee. He was still in the building at the school. Told me what happened. Told me I was going to get a phone call. We hung up. 16 minutes later, my phone was ringing. Talked to the coach, talked to the assistant coach was there because they was reading me the rules. Then I asked them, was the AD there? They called him in. We had a little meeting and then hung up. I said, look, I'll call you back. I'm gonna do a little bit more research. Then I had enough information. I called them back about 11 o'clock, 2300 for your military guys. And then the next morning, I got up, wrote an email. I email when someone has a legitimate complaint about something. They talk to me. I want you to know what I'm telling them. Okay, because hey, I'm not whether I believe what you're saying, I don't take sides. I'm gonna do what's right. I mean, if something that we did that we could have done different, we could have done better. Hey, I'll tell them. It's not like, well, who's wrong and who's right. It's not about that. But most time when I communicate with them, especially in the written word, I put it down. I CC the entire referee, the U1, the U2, and also I sent it to the coach and I sent it to the AD. Following, I mean, I guess the next day, everybody was, I mean, other officials texted me, other people saying, what happened over this school? What happened here? I didn't. The coach from the opposing team called. I had to tell him. I mean, and again, I told him I would share the email, and I was going to share it with you all tonight. I mean, I know Derek's on the phone. The crew was over there, and like I said, I never did talk to him. I just talked to the referee. Again, guys, the way I look at this, you there in real time. On a varsity game, 3 officials. I got 6 eyes there. Someone calls me and tells me their version of what happened, what you should have done. I'm going to listen to them. That's my, hey, okay, I will get their version. That's why it's important that you just tell me this is what the scenario is, and whether they call or not. I mean, some of you have done that through the season. Well, this may come up. The coach may have said this. He's going to call. They have every right to call. Look, I trust you there. I don't want you to unsee. You can't unsee what you saw. You can't unhear what you heard. I mean, so in saying that, and like I say, I'm pretty sure I haven't talked to, I'll probably talk to more, I would say the state tomorrow. One of the things I did, I haven't seen the video, no one provided me that. I'd asked for it, and even on the email I sent. And I'll read that email for the key points of it, and I'll read some other publications about what my interpretation and what I expect for you all, and also what I think the state wants. I mean, again, some of these calls, I mean, some of you have worked in law enforcement and did different things in your job. You had something called what we have called discretion. Okay. Now I use a couple of examples when I talk to AD and stuff, when they just him and I was talking. Look, now most people who travel the interstate, that speed limit is 70 miles an hour. You go on 72, you speed. You go 75, you speed. When they do anything over that. Now, if you go 75, you're probably not going to get stopped. No matter what time of the day, the conditions are very hard, but you're still in violation. The way I look at it, Errol Daniels, as the supervisor, when I'm watching your game, one of the observers out there, we're looking at 3 things. The call that you make, it's either a correct call, incorrect call, it's either one of the 2. Then we look further and we look at what? Was it a quality call? Right? So a lot of times you can be correct, but it's not necessarily a quality call. And that's what some people have a problem with. I mean, so I know the officials, when it was explained to me, and people want to go look in the rule book. And we still got people out there reading the rule book. We don't officiate the rule book. That's not my guidance. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to officiate the game. All right. What happened the other night was the score was tied. These 2 teams playing very, very well officiated game, very well played game, very competitive game. Score tied. One team steals the ball, go down in the transition, makes the layup, and is fouled on the shot attempt. Ball goes in, so we got what? We got an and 1. We got a situation where we're going to shoot. They took the lead in the game, made it 54 to 52. They took the lead. They got the foul. We had people come onto the court. One of those individuals, when he came onto the court, we know we're in the front of the home team's bench. So that means the entire court, we're on that end, and we have official getting ready to administer the free throw down at the lead. Then we have the center in the trail. We had several people really come onto the court. Came over at a division line, but one particular person came on, and these adults, onto the court near the top of the key, down in front of the visiting team. Okay, all the way over. Tendre comes over, doing all kinds of things. He's pointing at and he's taunting the people on the visiting team's bench. Right, this great game going on. There is a whistle. And they are assessed a technical foul. Ball is dead, and we call that and I say, in fact, even when I said they were given an unsporting foul. All right, now I'm gonna give you the definition of an unsporting foul: non-contact technical foul. That's what an unsporting foul is. It consists of unfair, unethical, dishonorable conduct, or any behavior not in accordance with the spirit of fair play. Now, I'm going to show you this book right here. You ready to see? See that letter on there? It says T. This entire book here from Referee Magazine and from referee.com. It talks about, this whole book talks about the technical foul at the right time in the right way. And it has something in here when it says about, I read, and I had to quote this, some of that. It has in there about behavior. It says the exact same thing in there. Non-sporting foul is a non-contact technical foul that consists of unfair, unethical, dishonorable conduct, or any behavior not in accordance with the spirit of fair play. That includes actions of spectators. That's what it says. Actions of spectators. Now, also in your rule book this year, if you look at the points of emphasis, we got in there about unsporting conduct. I quoted some things right out of that. Unsporting conduct is a point of emphasis for the 2021 basketball season. The rule book states that the National Federation of High School Committee is concerned about inappropriate conduct of players, bench personnel, coaches, officials, and spectators. There's officials as well. Programs are educationally based on a conduct that is not tolerated in other educational settings should not be accepted. Therefore, each group has the responsibility to demonstrate civility and citizenship. Exactly what I put on the email that I sent out. Then I went on to describe what the spectator did. Okay, it was overt. Now, if it was down there where the players were, you can see, got mixed up. This was out there overt. All right. Once we assessed the technical foul, the home team made the free throw. They're up by 3. So what we have to do now? We have a technical foul. We need to go to the other end. We shoot 2 free throws. The visiting player made both free throws. Now they get the ball up at the division line. Only thing I had incorrect, I had 5.9 seconds. It was 5.2 seconds. Now it went from a tie game. The other team made a basket, made a free throw, so they're up by 3. They come down and shoot the 2 technical fouls, free throws. Now they down by 1. They put the ball in at the division line, throw it backcourt, grabbed it, got dribbles in. A visiting team member cuts through the basket, throwing the ball, puts the ball, comes to the net. So now we went from team scored, they was up by 2, made the free throw, up by 3, 2 free throws. Now they're down by 1. And then when they made the shot, it was 5.2 seconds left when they brought the ball in. Of course, with all the chaos, when the ball goes through the net, the clock operator allows the time to expire. When it expires, we got a back gym, both home and away. They all come run out on the court. You can clearly see doing that in the video. And I was told by not the school administrators, but I was told by the referee, their own co-player called timeout. So we grant the timeout, clear the court, get everybody back, and they accurately put 1.2 seconds back on the clock. Damn, we can't advance the ball or anything like that. Come out of the timeout, and they throw the ball in and shoot the ball, shoots about half court and miss. So now we got a 1-point win by the visiting team. Now, as I talk about it, that technical foul caused basically the other team to win the game. It doesn't. Basketball is a simple sport. Okay? You don't award points in basketball. Okay, I want everybody to get that clear. You can't award points. They got to score. I mean, they got basket interference. You got to go. Hey, you don't award. The ball has to go through the net. See, we forget that. Hey, team that home team scored the free throw. They put it in. The guy went down there, made both free throws, and they execute a play in 5.2 seconds to put the ball in net. Now, so they can say that the official calls this here. And if when you call a foul, we had a state championship my first year, 2019, a member of our crew called a foul with 0.07 seconds left on the clock. It was a foul. I mean, and somebody was a foul. He called it. It was a tie game. Luckily, but I mean, with it, the player made one of two free throws and they won by 1 point. But again, I can't give you courage. I mean, but sometimes games management, people say, would I have done it? But I would ask before, when someone asks you a question, hey, what should have happened? This would have been better served. Sometimes you have to see the play. And that's why I wanted to show it to everybody here. But I've asked for it. One of the last things I put on my email that I told them, hey, thanks for inquiring about the adjudication and the penalties for unsporting act, because that's what it was. It wasn't that it ran on the court. I want everybody to leave this conversation thing. We're going to talk about it. We didn't penalize him just for running onto the court. Okay, it's what he did when he got to the court. And that's why I said I want everybody to see it. It was what he did. It's unfortunate that such a well-played and competitive game had to occur, and even more so in the waning seconds. That's what it leaves like. Had that happened in the first quarter, second quarter, I don't think we would be talking about it. But because when it did happen, we know we do that at times. Okay, look, at that point, we got to understand the situation awareness and all that. But at that point, some things are so egregious. Okay, could we warn them? Yeah, you can warn them. But sometimes the conduct does what? It deserves to be dealt with. And what I tell people, we're gonna deal with 100% of misconduct and bad act. We're gonna address it. How we adjudicate it, and all of us look at things a little bit different. But last thing I put in there, I look forward to reviewing the video and using this as a teachable lesson for the other officials within our association. I asked for this. I wanted to show it tonight because you're an official, and everybody who goes on to either of those schools or anywhere else, they're gonna ask you, did you see it? What do you think? I mean, but for me, I think they did the exact thing what should have been done. Because we got a lot of lip service right now about, hey, people doing this here, removing people from. I would tell you this. I was addressing one person, several came out of the stands. That night was Thursday. On Friday morning, 2 people have been issued a no trespass letter for the remainder of the season. One of them, those individuals that came out and did the most egregious thing, that's the parent of a player that was on the team for the Pine Forest home team. So again, we got a lot of good student sections. Some of them doing some of them do some things across the line, and the retail home administration. Again, that's what I want you to do. Have the home administrator do that. They know. I mean, that's their kids. I mean, and then I'll have some other things here, and I'm gonna get some of your opinions about this. But it says here, once I told them about that, it was in their right to do that. It also says here, the rule book states that the official may rule fouls on either team as its supporters act in a way such that interfere with the proper conduct of the game. So I mean, we can do technical fouls. It is significant to note that the word used is may. It don't say you must. So there's no way. I would never tell them you must do this here, but it says you may. Okay, that gives permission, but does not in any way imply that the official must call technical fouls on the team followers or supporters for unsporting acts. Thus, while officials do have the authority to penalize a team when spectators interfere with the proper conduct of the game, this authority must be used with extreme caution and discretion. While the authority is there, the official must rarely use it because experience has demonstrated that calling hasty technical fouls on the crowd rarely solves the problem and may in fact result in penalizing the wrong team because the official may not have the proper knowledge as to which team supporters were responsible for the unsporting act. Again, sometimes people want to do that. Everybody wants this cookie cutter. Hey, look, they do this. We got a lot of things what we call automatics. But I'll see an automatic coach out the box yelling and doing stuff. Now I'm at your game and you're not doing anything about it. I don't see a warning. I don't see a technical foul. So So for them, sometimes I understand how the administrators and coaches like to, because they know they ride you the whole game, and this crew don't do anything. Next game they come here and say 2 words, again they say again. I know we got all different tolerance levels. Again, about consistency. But again, but before you render an opinion about, hey, some people, like I've heard it. Oh, I would never call, hey, we interject us up in the game. Okay, maybe. But again, we wouldn't allow a player to do what that adult did. And now we got some societal issues here now where we won't what's tolerated at we have a higher expectation of some elements of society versus others. There's no way I would want a player. There's no doubt in my mind a player would have did somewhat close to that. They would have been ejected. They would have been easy technical foul, and they would have been out for 2 games. But now I even asked the AD, I said, look, so you all saw the video, you all went and got a no trespass letter on 2 people based on the video, and people upset about the official calling a technical foul. But what it is easy to look at the results of the game. What happened? Had that player went down and missed both technical fouls, both shots. I mean, the only thing that team could have did try to put up a lead to try the game to go to overtime. They stole the inbound pass. Had they won the game, it would have been an issue, but it wouldn't have been an issue like it is now. So whatever you've heard, that's what I mean. And I got some guys on there. Hey, you all heard me talking to one of the officials before the game because like, hey, when I sent that email out, I just go by the rules. We have discretion. We're at the game. You got to feel for the game. Now, remember now, it's this 5.2 seconds left. So the 8-minute quarters, you have played 31 minutes and 55 seconds. Now, you call me and I'm at home. I'm driving home from a game. Hey, Earl, this happened. Okay, I got it. But again, hey, you're at the game. Hey, was it a correct call? Yes. And after looking at the video, that's why I want to look at it. It was absolutely a quality call. So, anybody got any things to add to your experience? You got a lot of people on the phone call. I talked to some because the next day I called a couple people about something else, and they asked, and everybody was talking about that. I didn't know it was on high school OT, but high school OT put something about a controversial thing. I looked at it about 6:31. I got on this call about 6:46. I signed on here tonight, and it didn't capture it. As soon as I get that video, because I've seen it, about what that did, I'm going to show it to you. Because sometimes you got to look in context. Now, like I said, at times, and it's a regular season game, I think we all learned something from it. Because what happened after that? Because at 1.2, like I said, when they let the clock go down to zeros, and all the playing came out, and of course I got some replies to my email. And the guy still, Mr. Daniel, rule, and the last thing, in Rule 10, Section 5, the rule book defines unsporting fouls. You got all this other stuff. Another thing, hey, why wasn't Terry Sanford issued a technical foul when the fans came out on the court at the quarterback's in live play? Again, people forget about why did they get that technical foul? They didn't want to know. They waited after the game. They didn't get the technical foul for coming onto the floor. Give them for what the unsporting act. You can't get on there. I hope nobody on this call will allow an adult in a sporting event to come and taunt students, kids. Now, those are those 2 teams. Now, I asked someone from a couple other schools, if that was your school playing this school, what would happen? You know what they told me? Or it would have been on. It would have been fighting. You can't go to some places in this house communities that we serve, and we got some hot rivalries. If that was to happen in certain rivalry situations where somebody comes over and start taunting kids, it's going to be a bad situation. So again, like I say, I have no problem with what they did. I'm looking forward to discussing this, not only just like I say with you all tonight, but also discussing that probably with State tomorrow, some other people that probably feel different. But I don't want people to think like, hey, look, under no situation, no matter what happens, we just gonna get home administration. You're gonna get the home administration. But sometimes when things are and I put that also in my email, that taunting is an unsporting act that wants proactive, quick, and effective responses out there. Sometimes you got to just respond in that manner. You can't let us. We know what happens when you start taunting somebody. I mean, good. It's okay to be celebrating with your team, to do certain things. And I didn't know until I actually saw it, how it was. Anyone, I mean, most of you have heard something about the game. Anybody, any comments, any questions? I mean, some of y'all discussed it in your I'm gonna say in your pregame, because I talked to a couple of referees and they talked to me and they said, which is good, because again, we use this forum here not just to get credit for being on the call. We want to use this forum and say, okay, it happens here. Hey, if you're not sure about something, with the crew, one thing they did, they got together. Because again, when I get feedback today from a veteran official, and he said, look, if he came, because one person was at the lead, one trail, you don't see all the things. And even the AD told me, he was unaware of the other gentleman, what he did. He saw, I think, what Derek mentioned to me tonight, hey, the guy was in black. No, there's another guy down at the far end of the court. He came over there in front of the other team bench. They didn't even see him, because I was thinking they did one, but they actually, like, they put a no trespass letter the very next day. This guy, this is a father that has a kid on the team, and he can't come back. So they thought it was in one situation. When they saw the video, it was two people. So again, and the guy was saying, hey, if I come in, but the referee, you one of you two, I come in and say, look here, this is what I think. That's why I say I want people to come in and look what you saw, tell what you saw, and have an opinion. We can look at it. Hey, the game, and it's not like, and again, I got some excellent feedback and some conversation with the veteran official today when I have a great respect for. And he was saying, look, hey, I came in, I had no problem saying that those two guys want to do this and I want to do that. Hey, it's not that. Again, you're in that together. Nobody gonna leave you and say, I trust that when he told me, look, I'm not going back and say these two officials wanted that, I voted no. No, we're gonna make the decision as a group. And that's what they did. They got together and talked about it. Anybody got anything?
One thing,
Earl, I just have a question. Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Constance.
Okay. I guess with that situation, did the fans completely come to the floor, like directly in front of the bench when this happened,
Yes.
or were they? Okay.
Directly, he came right across. I would say he came all the way across from, say anything. If you're table side, he came opposite table from his side all the way to the top of the key. And in fact, the coach, of course, the home coach, when he could almost touch it. They were that close. Where he was,
wow.
waving his finger. He was yelling. I don't know if he's cussing because we couldn't see it, but he went so far over, and I didn't see it. And when they showed it to me, he was winding up. Because again, if you had been up there like raising the roof or doing it, just excited, running around and celebrating, if you had been a student. I'm not saying it may have been different, but it looked. I mean, with all what we're saying about conduct, but to do that in front of the kids, and the coach was kind of standing up, looking at him.
Right.
And I mean, and I think it was several people come. So, and it's like the optics. That's why I say, even when I did it, were they within their rights to give technical? Yes. I can go back and listen to, okay, at what point did he give the technical? But the way he came over in your face, that thing, and that's to the bench. I mean, that's why I say I wish I would, like I say, and those individuals on that crew, I sent them the email. I think I sent the email at what 5 o'clock that morning, I guess. No, at 6:15 that morning, and I wanted it for this session. I wanted it for this session so you all could see it.
And I guess the reason I asked that, because I wanted to know, I mean, could the fan or whatever just have been kicked out of the gym?
Right.
Or did it have to be,
Right. And that's one thing. And that's what I want people to do is that, hey, get home administration, let them do their job. They intervened and removed him. But like I say, and had they And even I talked to the home administration, I said, talk to the AD, he had made, when I talked to the referee, I said, look, what did they do? Because sometimes when things happen, we got called contributory negligence. We never warned, we had situations that's why it's important that, hey, when you see something, don't wait till it to be a problem. You see it coming. Hey, he said, look,
Yes, sir.
on the PA announcement, the guy waved, hey, stay back. They had it roped off. They had the thing roped. They did. And that's why I say we don't want to penalize the enemy. But when that happened, he comes all the way over. And I mean, he's way, I mean, he's not just, he run over there and leave. You know, some students like run and they run out.
Yeah.
And of course, and I said, now I'm trying to get, and when I saw it, I just saw it real quick on Friday night. And I was going to ask, trying to listen for when they whistle, when it happened. I don't want to be late. Don't be hasty. When somebody run the court, I mean, they out there. They did intervene and remove it. But they say,
Okay.
They were not even aware of the other. They thought the detective was given for this gentleman, like another guy, I don't like this guy. They saw it now. And they saw the video of the whole thing. I think the school kind of pushed back. Then, you know, like anything else, the thing had already taken a life of its own. It's out there now. If I say all they doing is say it's a controversial, and they call it technical foul because they came on the court. That wasn't, I mean, that was it. And when I get it, like I say, I will probably post it, and I was going to send it. If you go to high school OT, and it's got about the game, because this was a great game. I mean, great game.
Right.
So, and I want you to see it, but again, I want to use these lessons and these something, that's a situation like that, because it seems like now, because you make a call that late in the game, at that point in the game, all is dead. I mean, but again, you got to be there. I mean, it's part of the fans out there, not cause commotion. One person comes out, and even right now, I would say, if it was students, kids, 16, 17-year-old, they'd make it back. They just acting out. But for a grown man or woman that come across the court, get in the face of the team and do that. That's not what high school sports is. Okay. Somebody tell me I could easily tomorrow. If they send that video tomorrow and he tells me something different, I'll trust me. I'm good with it. But I mean, but I think they did it. But anything else? I mean, those kind of questions I want you to ask. Because now Connor Thomas just asked that question when we had and Anthony Maynard was on the game. Herman Lewis, Dustin Knoll, when we had bench clearing, we had 17 people. I mean, 13, all about on the court. And guess what? Those two teams don't play again. And guess who I made the referee of that game? Nobody wants that rematch. Somebody on that call gonna get it. Trust me. All right. They're gonna, just the way it is, the basketball guards, those two teams gonna play again. All those guys with that middle school, y'all laughing. They're like, okay, got it. But guess what? Somebody on this call gonna get that rematch. And guess what? Every foul you make gonna get a reaction. I mean, not that they did anything wrong, the other guys, but again, they're gonna play again. That's just the way it is. When two teams at St. Paul's and South Robinson, they played in the first round of that conference tournament, and some people didn't want them to play each other. They were saying like, hey, they want them to be. Look, again, we're not gonna run from adversity. We're not gonna run from trouble. We're not gonna look for it, but we're not gonna run from it. Okay, so again, that was Terry Sanford and Pine Forest. And like I say, when you get your schedule, you get the game, hey, you better not decline. Like, I know you're available. Because somebody don't do it. Hey, not good. And that's it. Again, you're gonna hear from what? When you go to the pregame, if you got one or two teams this week, they're gonna know, you know what happened. But again, I want you everybody to look. We did, based on what you know, fact, did not get a technical for coming onto the court. Unsporting act. Okay. So somebody asks you a question, coach, well, they can explain you all kinds of scenarios. Look, like people say about pornography. So you can't describe it. You know what it is when you look at it. You know what it is when you see it. All right. So again, anybody got anything else? Yes, sir. Go ahead, Leroy.
Yeah. Hey, I just, first of all, I commend the crew, whoever did that. That took some guts, and I'm glad they did what they did. I'm going to that school on Tuesday. So, but here's what I want to say. And we all know that the unsporting conduct is a point of emphasis, or we should know, because it's in the rule book. The only issue that I have with it is game management is waiting on us to initiate when they should be initiating. They see the unruliness with the fans. 71st, Friday night, had a few fans from a school down the Pembroke way, and they were pretty unruly. And towards halftime, and I said something to the administrator. She said, "Well, I was waiting on you to say something. I was wondering when y'all was going to say something." Well, if you saw the same things I was seeing and hearing the same things I was hearing, it was on you and your staff to say something to them before I said something. So that's what.
Wait, Leroy, let me tell you something. Now, again, guys, it just took over. Now, Leroy said that. Now, I'm telling you, I haven't talked to Leroy. I'm seeing him right now. Right? He called me, and I got some. I'm gonna give him some feedback. I was gonna call him back. Again, some of those parents, some people at that game didn't like the game because I went over there on Saturday night. And they were saying some different things, and that's the point that when I'm having these meetings. So I'm asking everybody on this phone call, if you can, don't call me before 11 o'clock. So that's what I'm gonna be go. I gotta go because again, it states in the rule book. If you're looking under there, I think it's on 74, 75. You're looking there where it says points of emphasis. Don't wait. And that's what they do at times. I'm sitting up and I'm standing there. I'm looking over. I'm talking to the principal. 71st on Saturday night. One guy just holding. Hey, he's doing all that. We're there. I said, "What? You want the referee to deal with that? You hear it? It's not. That's not. This is a sporting event. So it has it in there. Don't wait for the. Okay, you heard it. Most of the time when somebody yells something, they don't want us to have revenues. The coach, everybody heard it. You have to go. Hey, did you hear that? Hear what? Of course you heard it. You ain't know because it ain't talking about you. So hey, just like you and I got a game. The guy calling all kind of names and everything. I get a game. The guy say, "Oh, you didn't hear the guy talking." Oh, I thought he was talking to you. No, he's talking to both of us. Again, when you hear something inappropriate, and they say, "See something, say something." When you hear something, say something. That's what it should be. That's the point, Leroy. So again, Leroy, I will call you because I know it's some things from that game. And again, people, it's never the kids' fault. I've had things say, "Hey, that game wasn't." The officials bad on both sides. It's always about officials. Well, what about accountability? But I know. But Leroy, I appreciate you calling me that. And like I said, this because all this things here, I didn't talk to you, but I'm glad you shared that. Again, let's get it early. I mean, we don't want people, some people feel like they're still in the impression that, hey, I went online, gave my money, and I just part of the game. That's not part of the game. It's not part of the high school game.
Hey, Errol,
Yes, go ahead.
my question, because I think Leroy's point, because we had that at a game too, where administrator, I was just waiting for you to say something. But my question is, I know like in football and some other sports, we're required to know who the game day administrator is. Is that something where, especially in this last week of the season, that we maybe should identify that game day administrator and go ahead and review that with them before the game?
But John, we should be doing that. If you're not doing it, you've been negligent. The game day administrator, you should write that. And sometimes the coach can't find it, okay, coach, it's you. You're the game day administrator. Every day. Again, now this week, I've had, every ejection is going to be, when I say challenge, and I got calls from that. If you had an ejection last week, I got a phone call. I got an email. Someone saying, hey, and I said, look, someone said, well, I want to appeal that ejection. I'm telling you, officials, I'm telling you, there is no appeal in the SSOA. I'll make every assignment on the SSOA. So if I see you in the game and you say ejected, Errol Daniels says they ejected. Don't you tell the coaches they can't, because they can't appeal. But I'm saying they appeal to me, they're gonna have to go to the state. Every time they do that, appeal will go from you tell me about it, you send your report in, Mark gets it, I get it. Now, I'm gonna have to talk to him tomorrow because some people want a couple of ejections, they don't like it. And I said, no problem. Mark will call me and tell me that, hey, look, this person, this school is challenging, hey, the video, he'll tell me and I will contact you, right? I will not coerce you, anything else. Hey, it is your decision. Everybody understand that? It's not, hey, I'm gonna get it right. If they got some video evidence or something to show something different, hey, I'm okay. I tell you, like I tell Mark, I'm not a B, I don't have to be right, but I want to get it right. Okay, so, but that, you don't need to tell them, but I'm just saying, when you do that, but it's at least 2 of you on the game, or 3, y'all got to get, there's one act, we had one the other night. One act gets you out of the game, that's probably an injection. All right, now again, now the same coaches called back, and after they got to call, some things happen. Now they tell everything. One coach said, look, you know what? You know, by the way, we had the game on Tuesday night. Referees did not even have a captain's meeting. Another coach tell me they wouldn't. Guess what? They came to tell. They never asked me was players leaving properly equipped, and they're gonna tell everything. Look, all I ask you to do, don't do what's right when I'm there. Do it right all the time. That's how petty this can be. Because it's not a technicality. One person said, "Look, they didn't write the ejection in the book, so since they didn't write in the book, it's the ejected." Okay. Yes. What I'm saying is, what John just brought up, when you get there, every game has a game, it should be a game day administrator. Who's the game day administrator? Well, no, lady, who's the game day administrator? Write it in the book somewhere. I got another guy complaining on the middle school game. He couldn't find, he said the officials didn't even sign their name in the book. Like that, that's why they did a bad job, because they know anyone to put their names in the book. Go look, every official that comes to your school, send it to the AD, send it to the county AD. Now he's not talking to me anymore. That's okay. Because every time somebody comes to your school, the AD knows who it is. It's called the arbiter. You have assignment, people will get petty and start saying all kind of things. But look, let's take the high road. Hey, we don't have a skin in it. We don't have a dog in the fight other than our job is to keep the game safe and keep it fair. It's like it's your son or daughter out there. When you get the bad actor out of that game, you've done your part. You've done part of your responsibility. And you got to continue that by getting the name, everything out of the report. Again, I'll be doing that tomorrow. Tomorrow morning will be a long morning for me. But I got to talk more about this, and we got coaches calling up. Look, again, it's the end of their season. If somebody got ejected on Friday night, that means they didn't have a game Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever. 2 of the 3 games they got this week, they can't play. They're fighting, they got 4 games. They might be out for the whole year. The 3 games next week in the first round of state playoffs. So again, it's an emotional thing. Senior night, a lot of people doing their senior night. Some did last week, a lot doing it this week. So again, emotions are high. And I expect it's not going to, I mean, they say, and these teams are going to play each other, and the talk is going about what happened. Again, I know I'm still getting the thing like they came on the court, this thing came on the court, the clock operator. These people are part of the team. They let the second game I've been to, where when I say been to, I was actually to 2 games where earlier this year, where they let the clock go out and all the fans went on the floor and coach was asking for a technical foul. It's not their fault. They're on the floor, they celebrate. But again, handle what I read, and I'll send that out. Handle this week. Yeah, discuss it at the game. But when you assess the technical foul, it's not like you pick up a flag in football. Hey, look, just get together, hey, and address what the person did. We're going to try to get the home team, the administration, to do that job. But when you see it coming, you know what's going to happen in the game, especially a tight game. How are you going to get out of there?
Hey, Earl.
Okay. Yes.
I got one last one. There's cameras everywhere.
Yes,
Every
sir.
game we officiate, whether it be a phone camera, whatever. Somebody came to me at church today, good friend of mine, and he showed me a play. Kid dunked the ball, came up the court, not even all the way up the court, turned to his bench, was celebrating, excited. Next thing you know, he got a technical foul. I saw the play, and I'm not calling out any officials, but as officials, we got to understand that there is excitement in the game. Kids do get excited. If they're not taunting another team, it shouldn't be a technical foul. If he's excited, that was his kid's first dunk or whatever it is, but at the same time, let's not get overzealous in what we're doing. Let's just do our jobs, get on down the floor, whatever. But yeah, to take a kid for dunking the ball when he didn't say anything to another kid, wasn't even in anybody's face except showing excitement to his own bench, that's not a technical foul. In my book, that's not a tech. And I know we talked about this once before.
Right, and
That's all
see,
I got.
again, guys, when you say that, because it's also in the middle school game. I know how many times you see a person in the middle school dunk, but he dunked in the game, did it twice in a row, and he would like to say he was out, went out there for Raven going down, and he gave him a technical foul. End up, his parent got thrown out of the game. I mean, they look again. Sometimes did the game need that? What was it doing? I guess kind of talk it through. I mean, sometimes we need to slow down, and do things. Hey, and like I say, partner, don't be the rubber. Hey, well, what do you have? Look, here's what. And just ask the question. Look, and again, that brings another point. Now, with veteran officials. Now, when I do the assignments, I kind of know who's been doing this for a long time, who's not. You kind of know when you talk to somebody, not because they can tell they look old, right? They've been doing. Look, ask the questions. You get it and just take it. We got a lot of times in situations where I can give some situations that for veteran officials it's common sense. Somebody else says, no, this is by the book, no. And just like that would have happened in that game, if Leroy Thompson would have talked to you like that, it's not saying that he clarified it. I said in my book. Did the game need that? Score, not in nobody's face, not his parent. Because some kid, I mean, he's having twice, 2 games back to back, the middle school game. I mean, and that's what gives us, because again, now I don't have no problem going to coach. We got it. It is an emotional game. It is. And that's something that, hey, he probably tried in practice first time ever in the game. And he's out, and everybody, they happy for him. So again, at that time, look, hey, I had no problem with you, but on the whistle. Hey, calm down today. Because everybody see what? You addressed it. We want to make sure, because whether the crime, make sure the punishment fits. And that's what I say. Again, hey, if you see that, hey, there's no problem with, hey, if he don't stand over somebody, he's flexing and doing all those kind of things, we know what that means. But hey, get on the whistle. Hey, look, not today, not in this game. Hey, you made a 12, you made a great play. You don't need that. Oh, most of them, Mr. Ref. Oh, sorry about that. He's still running out of court on cloud 9. He didn't dunked in the game. Anyone else? I mean, because again, and I will tell you this here. Sometimes, like I say, when you're there, because that's good. When somebody show you video, that means that you see it. Because a lot of times, say, this player dunked in the game and they gave him a technical. No. He dunked and what? Did a pull up. He went screaming. He stood over somebody. Don't let the players walk over. Don't let the player hand the ball to somebody else. It's not a teammate. Address that early. I've seen that in games where, hey, we get a lot of that where, okay, they call a crowd and call something, the person reaches in there, try to grab the ball. They look, tell them don't do that. I mean, even if they get the ball, hey, look, the ball comes to the official. I mean, hey, just get it early. Uniforms. Now, some schools, we letting them play without, hey, look, I know it's teachers, we don't want to do that. Okay, it's bad enough we don't want to be the mass police, but we got to make sure the uniform is straight. Every dead ball, hey, let's get the shirts in. Let's get the shirts in. All right, because they start playing, we're not going to stop the game for that. But when the ball comes to a stop, we get it for a substitute opportunity, hey, a foul call or something like that. Hey, just make sure, hey, everybody, we put that ball that can play and slow down. Several times this last week, I saw the ball being put in play, and one official talking to the players, one official talking to the coach, and everything, the ball's in play. Look up. You have the ball mentioned. Make sure your 2 partners, make sure there's nobody at the table. Hey, put the ball in play. Right? Timeouts. Again, once the other team, ball goes in, the teammate makes a basket, team B has the ball, running the end line, then they got a timeout from team A. Once that team has the ball, you can't do it. Right? Even though once they have the ball, they say, come for a timeout, you got to have what? Play of possession. I mean, if somebody has the ball, it's the only thing you can call a timeout. Okay, so coach come running always in the game. If you need to get together at the end of the game, in certain situations, come to the ball and kind of, hey, have a plan. No, you've been in the game. It's in the 4th quarter now. You've been in there the whole time. You know what the tendencies, you know what's been working for that team. You know what the things to look for. And on the 5-second count, I normally ask, I'll know exactly if I'm, hey, on the game, I'm telling my partner, he's over there at the table, she's on the table, I'm at timeouts. when I hand the ball to the thrower, I'm not gonna let the thrower put me in a position to call 5-second count. Look, I'm telling you, you got a timeout. If he doesn't have any timeout, hey, you don't have a timeout, I'm telling you, don't be, hey, I'm not gonna give you no eye contact, I'm not gonna hear it. Listen. You call timeout, that's excessive time. Look, I tell them, I hand it to them, and I probably stand a little bit further back, take a step before I start counting. We don't want, you say, not want to be informed. But if you get the, when I get to 4, hey, I'm not gonna slow my arm come down at all. It's 5, it's 5. Make sure it's there. Okay. But again, those little things, when you talk to it, so when your partner is giving you some advice, look, this is how we want to do the game. This is not how I want you to do it. This is how we gonna do it. Because that's how you're gonna get grade. There's no way somebody gonna get an A and somebody gonna get a C and get F. You're all gonna get F. You're all gonna get A. It's gonna get you get the same grade because you're out there together, right? Now I do tell the ADs and the coaches, look, what do they? I ask them, what do y'all do at halftime? Do y'all making adjustments? Yeah, we all do. Hey, we are okay. So sometimes 15, you can. They tell you, well, y'all didn't call that way in the first half, coach. I just say, coach, right? We made some corrections. I mean, hey, we adjusted. That's what the players, they adjust to you. Sometimes we adjust to them, right? But again, hey, be brief in your comments to the coaches. I don't like it when, you go talking to the coach. Coach don't even ask you a question. You go to foul, you over there start talking. You don't need to justify. They don't look. They're not going to like your call. They don't have to. All I want them to do is respect it. I tell the coaches that. Well, you don't like the way, coach. Yeah, I ain't like the way to call the game. You don't have to, coach. Now, that's not a question. That's a comment. I'm okay with it. And I tell everyone, hey, I put her on the game. I signed it. Well, that person was the word. Okay. Just like when I tell one coach, you hated him. The other team, they loved him. What makes you right and them wrong? Hey, they working off. Hey, they'll work hard for you. Ask them a question, did they answer? All he said was, okay, that's an answer. Don't worry about it. Don't have a clinic. Short, brief, put the ball back in play. Anybody got any questions about anything? Anybody? I mean, like I say, I will text some of you immediately after this, because it is something. There's gonna be some changes tomorrow, because I appreciate that those of you who are prioritizing the games. And I say that, but also, again, Jimmy Williams, Ernie Fisher, Ann Hines, Jason Graham, Anthony Mena. Everybody, look, we all reaching our hand in the same pool of umpires and same pool of officials. Hey, guys, there's a lot of things going. I mean, I see Matthew Teacher, hey, you on games, hey, very seldom do we have somebody, some of us signers, not just you all right, as independent contractors. But I expect people to do what's best for them, do what's best for them and their family. But we got to do a better job getting together. So if you got a game here, you can make it to the next site. Again, all the games are important. I mean, at every level, whether it's middle school, JV, varsity, recreation, there's all kids who want to play. I think everybody's heart's in the right place to go there and get it done. But again, you got something going on. Like I say, this week, I mean, we got they got basketball every single day, either recreation, indoor, high school, private school, every day this week. Every day except Sunday. So some of y'all doing a lot of work, and trust me, it's appreciated. I mean, like I say, I can tell when somebody say, look, I had to say it, people call and say, look, this guy wants me to work here. Am I gonna get a game? I have no problem with that. Okay. But you can kind of look at the schedule and see how many games. Right? You can do it times 2, times 3. Most of the time it's got the level of the game on there. If it's a varsity, it's 3. I mean, I don't care if it's a middle school, maybe middle school varsity game. Again, I'm gonna put a few more things out this week. The other clinics are starting, baseball, softball, lacrosse, spring soccer, people getting called in different directions. You got other commitments. It's probably the last Sunday, because I think baseball, Mike Cornell, he put his off today, or we could have this meeting, because he was gonna meet at 7:15. He's also, Mike's a basketball official. DJ White does lacrosse. He's a basketball, Ernie Fisher is a basketball official. So again, there's a lot of things going on, guys, and I know that, I respect that. But as we close out the season, let's finish strong. I'm gonna try to recognize a couple of people here, and we had some things in the fall. We had 4 state championships, 2 in football, and had winning soccer and in volleyball. All the volleyball officials came in, and we had 3 of those 4 was basketball officials, and we had soccer. We recognized them at the Holiday Classic in Cumberland County. Some other guys were not available. We're gonna recognize them. Also, in softball, our Distinguished Service Award winner was Rhonda Groves. She's on the call tonight. We're gonna kind of get them out there and make sure, that sometimes people just take it for granted. Officials just come there. Trust me, people, they say it in small when we're around. Well, if the coach went there, he'll play the game. The official's not there. They don't treat us that way. So I'm gonna try to get some recognition for those of you, if I aim in basketball right now, either doing the tournament, or doing teams home games this week. So I may come out and make a presentation. Just let the people know that, hey, there's a real person behind those stripes, behind that, equipment, behind that mask, all the different things that we do. But I will say this. Now, Daryl Page was the referee on the game. Does anybody, and I kind of asked a question, and Leroy said some things. Anybody have a question about, they would like to direct to Daryl about what happened, what they took in consideration during that process? Anybody would like to ask Daryl a question? That's what this is for, guys. Getting experience. Now, Daryl made at least 3
I got
state
one.
championships. Go
Hey,
ahead.
real fast, Earl. Hey, during that game, Daryl, how was the fans' conduct during the course of that game? And did that pretty much help kind of guide you guys to a decision in the end?
This was a highly competitive game. The fans on both sides of the court was real engaged, very engaged in the ball game. It had no decision of mine whatsoever about how the fans was acting. Only thing that came into play was when the multiple fans came onto the court, not just on the edge of the court or 2 steps on the floor. They came in the center of the court, and then they was taunting the opposing team bench. That's the only thing that came in place as far as the home team not handling their spectators, the spectators in general. They are responsible for the spectator in a whole, regardless of the visitor team or the home team fans. They have the responsibility of taking care of all spectators. That's the only thing that had any bearance in it.
Hey, outstanding, man. That school is, there's a history there also with that school there, Earl.
Right. Oh, absolutely. And that's why I say, guys, I know a lot of people say, look, hey, I want to varsity game. Guess what? That's the game you're going to be on. Trust me now, when I just talked about that, now I've already got a few texts. People, they want to go over there. You're not looking for trouble. Sometimes, like, hey, again, now, had I not had those individuals over there, and would it have been as accepted? Some people like, hey, oh, this guy got a quick trigger. No, sometimes, hey, people like, what you permit to promote, we got all these sayings, hey, what's going to tolerate? But we know, like I say, what just asked Daryl. Daryl, he talked me through it. I said, when I talked to Daryl on Friday, asked him, he hadn't even read the email. But I had enough information from him and that I knew. And just the way, but his demeanor, if you know him, and he didn't get excited. He was on the phone. And I just said, it was, hey, just like Leroy processing it. The crew, if you look at them, they were calm. They didn't go running. Hey, wasn't trying to grab people, get them off the floor. It was no excitement. They didn't match even that. And that's what made me feel good about when I saw the video. I'm looking at the officials. They wasn't running over, looking to teach somebody out, hey, pouring people out. It was like, okay, everything calmed down. And they got together. And even the administrators said that, look, got together. The crew never seemed flustered. You know how it's going to be. Once everybody made their free throws. The other team got the ball, made the basket. Oh, we know what was coming. Because when Daryl told me, I've had several calls this year when somebody said, Daryl, they might call you. Oh, hey, if you get a phone call, what Mr. Page told me, you will get a call. 15 minutes later, I say it was right. I mean, and he was calm, and even the coaches weren't excited. But I could tell it wasn't an argument, anything like that. Again, that's why I say I appreciate Daryl coming on the call and let me know that he was on there. Like I said, you heard me talking to Derek earlier on the phone, just ask questions and then see my email. But I want to make sure I capture what you tell me. I'll do the research. It's easy for me. I'm here in the confines of my home office or doing something here. You on the court in real time. All I need you to tell me is what you saw. This is what it is. The way he explained it to Leroy and the rest of us down, it's exactly how Daryl told me about it the other night. You know, this. Hey, was it right? It was so egregious. I didn't open, and they were like, "Hey," and even the school when I went there on Friday night for that game, they never forwarded me the video. I went over there. I asked. I did not know that they had gave a letter to 2 people, and I did not know. They said they didn't even see the other guy. When they saw that, they kind of pushed back somewhat and said, "Well, again, guys, when you get more information, that's what it's about." I mean, they didn't like it. We didn't like it, but they understood it. And that's all sometimes that's all we want to do. Okay.
Ask Daryl a question.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Bruce.
What was the time management for those fans to run on the court? I understand the outcome because everybody are talking about the game. In Pinecrest, they're talking about the game. But what was the managed time left in order for a fan to run on there, where multiple fans run on the court? What was the time remaining on the game? I understand the score was very tight.
Time was, I think 5.4 seconds on the clock when the baskets were made and the foul was called. 5.4 seconds in the fourth quarter. And Pine Forest went up by 2 and just got fouled.
Was the ball on the dead ball timeout? Was it running clock after the fact before they ran on, or was it a timeout?
It was a foul. It was a 2-point, and he got fouled, and the clock was stopped with 5.4 seconds on the clock.
And the foul caused the ball to stop.
Yeah,
The clock.
foul. On the other end, let's just clarify one more thing. On the other side, when there was 5.4, Pine Forest had made their free throws. We went down, shot a tech. Terry Sanford made their free throws. We gave Terry Sanford the ball at the division line. Terry Sanford went in and scored a basket. The clock continued to run. And once the buzzer went off, bam, it had a few people that came on the floor like they were celebrating. They just won at the buzzer. But that wasn't the case. We had to add some more time on it because one of the players would call a timeout prior to the time running off the clock. So we had 1.2 seconds on the clock, gave the ball to Pine Forest, and they missed the shot, game over.
And I did receive, for y'all, I did receive another, and once I gave my explanation, everything, later on that day, I was asked, like it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, why wasn't Terry Sanford issued a technical foul when fans came out of the court after he scored a basket doing live play? Remember now, the ball's still live, but the ball went down to 0 again. And people ask me those questions, and it's fair. Again, look at the play. I mean, again, when we think about it, but the clock at that time, I didn't know, even when they didn't tell me that a timeout was granted. I didn't know. They just said, look, they was on the floor and I didn't have the information. So when I talked to Daryl again, and then like I say, this came up the next day. And again, that's why I say it's important that everybody here understand. They didn't receive a technical foul for merely coming onto the floor. Doing live ball. Hey, this unsporting act was once he got to the floor. And that's why I say I want to see it. Because they say, what was the unsporting act? What was dishonorable conduct? What was that about? And that's why I told them I want to see the video. But can you assess? And that's because that is a slippery slope. I don't want officials, I don't want anybody saying, look, just go somebody come on the court. Hey, then we have technical. I put on an opposing team shirt and I run on the court and I run off. You're gonna take it. That's not even our school. That's why I say we don't want to get into that. What we can't allow is taunting and all that. And like I said, and even I'm glad he calls it video review because when they reviewed it, it was more people on the floor doing different things than they, like I said, initial thing was, we were talking about one person. Daryl had told me that evening about what, several.
Uh,
So,
Daryl Page, Robert Edwards has a question for you.
Yeah, so I heard the story just like everybody else, and I heard exactly what y'all did. My question is, when y'all came together as a crew, not need to know who, but did any one of y'all disagree? And did it take convincing that third person or that second and third person to do what y'all eventually did?
But I don't know if, Robert, I don't know if the other guys agreed or disagree. They didn't say one way or the other. I told them what we was going to do, and they said good, and that's what we did. I don't know if they disagreed. They didn't never say anything to me about, no, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. I said, this is how we're going to handle this situation. This is what happened. Got all the information. Once we got all the information, one of the other officials came to me and said what he saw, and because the other official was basically concentrating on his foul and the players going to the basket. He had all that stuff down there. Me and the other official had all the other stuff that was going on immediately after the foul was called. So us two, we really came together and talked about what we thought what the best thing needed to be happening. I told him what we was going to do, and that's what we went with.
Fair enough, thanks.
So Daryl, you must have been the referee of this game. Is that correct?
I was. Even if I wasn't a referee of the game and I had some clear knowledge of what was going on, I would have voiced my opinion, and I still probably would have let the referee make that decision, but I still would have told him what I thought what should have happened.
and what I'll do, I mean, for everybody, when I speak to the state tomorrow, I hope they send them the video. I mean, and whatever I get from the conversation, I will pass on, because again, as we go into the conference tournament, as we go into playoffs, and as we do our regular season games, it's important that we know what state, interpretation. That's why we're gonna do games in the Southeast. We're gonna put some teeth behind what it's supposed to be. I've got a couple of text messages from officials that want that game, and I got it. It's not that, again, because again, every game, I call it, it's a moment of truth. And every season, there's a defining moment. Okay, well, what do they stand for? What are these referees? When you go out there, somebody just kind of lay the gauntlet down and say, look, this is what they say. I can give you courage, but if this happens in the game, the player leaves the bench and it's supposed to be a fight. Guess what? He's getting ejected. That's not what we want to do, but that's what the game is. That's why you think about in officiating now, is that we're in the state we're in now because, hey, do something, people communicate threat, people saying this here. Leroy, when I talked to him after the game, some things happen over there on Friday night. Some teams have never been good, now they're good. And they can't handle it. We don't owe them anything. You wouldn't believe, I'm not the kind that like to just say, look, at this, but I'll share some emails or some phone calls, some people that, I'm not pushing back. And I'm not saying it's not about being perfect. It's like, hey, we do this here. For all the stuff, look at how much is required and just how much is really you gaining from it. Some of y'all have went many, many miles. Hey, COVID, all this other stuff. Hey, I don't have respect for people just because I'm in this position. I did it when I was doing it. And I say, when I sign you guys, I know you're out there to do the job the right way. But again, some of the stuff here, this was to me, is hopefully, I want you all to see the videos. I just saw it, and I saw it on the 80s phone. He just showed it real quick right here, and it just took it down. Because I asked him, I went over there, I was going to school, I had all my books. I had a little book with the technical, I had my rule book, I had a case book, I had a manual, I had all those things over there to go tell them what a sporting foul was, show them what it read when it said spectators also, show them and want him to read along where it says, it's not that we must give a technical foul, we may. and we should use extreme, discretion. Because again, some of you have never done it. I've never done it on a, but in fact, I worked with Daryl. In fact, when I first came, Daryl's my, he was the crew chief. I mean, great person. We were on crew with them. Hey, I work with Tony here. I work with a lot of other people. Like, hey, but guess what? Their games, a lot of those guys, it's order. People try to focus on basketball. The technical foul is just what? Something in your toolbox to keep the game fair and safe. It's never personal. But again, so like I say, as soon when I get that video, I will definitely share it with the group. Now, I got Derek Kente come in, Jason Ennis, Gene Joyner, anybody from I say Newt, Rodney Bolton. Rodney, yeah, I know we're gonna answer the thing. I'm gonna answer the thing about the administration, Rodney. I know you're on the phone, you had it in the chat group. We're supposed to write not only the referee's name in there, last name to all three, but also the game day administrator. I know he stated in Oklahoma that they do it, they write their registration, their number. Every game that you go to, the only time they're surprised if somebody don't show up and I call and you on your way. Any other time, that's why I say you accept your game. That's why they know they cut the check. They know you're coming. Every athletic director for their home games, they are afforded they see the list I send. They see where you accepted the game. But when you come there, somebody say, what's your name? Hey, that's the game day administrator. Oh, you want to tell me your name? I get that. But I asked his name. Look, don't get into that. AD has the name, the game day administrator. They know you coming. Okay. So that's there. But anybody like Dane, Jason, anybody, I mean, just new to this, North Carolina, have anything to share or add about any experience? Whether it be fans coming on the court, I mean, how do they handle game day administration? I mean,
yes, I had a unique play the other night at a game. We had a 1-and-1 free throw. The guy shot the free throw and missed. We had contact with the free thrower. The C official called the foul. The referee of the game decided that it was also a violation, and he awarded him the reshooting of the 1-and-1 that he was shooting, and then awarded him the 1-and-1 for the foul. I told him then, and I'm saying it now, that was administered incorrectly. The only thing that should have happened was the 1-and-1 for the foul. Because you have a delay call on the violation, so the ball is still live. Once the foul happened, the play becomes dead. You never, ever administer a violation and a foul simultaneously in a game of basketball. It just doesn't happen. And the referee was adamant that he did it correctly, and he goes on to tell me that he refereed 4 state championships and he knows the rules. We can never, ever get to the point where we can't learn something new or we think we know everything. We got to always be willing to learn something new. We don't know the whole game of basketball. We've made mistakes before. We have to be willing to accept that we don't know it all. We can't be that strong-minded in this game. You got to listen to your partners.
But when you say that right now, here's the caveat. And that was in the state of South Carolina, correct?
Correct.
Right. Now, did you all look it up? Did y'all go over that? Did y'all look it up before y'all left in the post game? Did know where? Did y'all? I mean, I know you talked about it, but then before y'all left that night, was everybody on the same accord? Understand what the rules, correct ruling should have been?
You'll have to unmute yourself. I unmuted you by accident.
Hey, Rodney, go ahead. Unmute yourself. You still muted.
I'm sorry. I'm not only showed it. Not only told it to him during the because we met before we made a decision. I know that I told it to him on the court, but I showed it to him once we got into the locker room, and he still was adamant that he was correct.
And see, guys, that's the point I always like when I like that we got Rodney, Gene, Jason. I mean, guys, they come here because they come from other states, but we have something called National Federation High School. We got some state adoption things here, but for the most part, basketball, high school basketball is high school basketball. So Jason and I got a chance to meet him. He did some high level, there in Virginia. Anything, Gene, anything you want to add or comment?
All I was going to say in PA, the site administrators, they were required to meet us as the officials in the locker room and to introduce themselves and to get us into the game and escort us out. And so that was pre-established in Pittsburgh, where we officiated. And so it was just something that was mandated through our association that we knew who the representative was. They knew who we were. They escorted us in and out, and we were able to talk to them before we hit the floor. And then they could tell us a little bit more about rivalries and things like that. And that was a good thing that was adopted for us. And it really helped us know where they were. And they would usually tell us where they're going to stand. So if there was an issue, there was eye contact, and then they always checked on us at halftime. And so that's how we administered. And that's how we worked together as a team, even though they weren't part of our crew. It worked out for us very well.
Anything from Jason?
No, I think
Can I address the group?
just
I'm
from the
sorry.
games I've done this, and just the games I've done in the association so far, one of the things I really like is the fact that I think as crews we do a good job of coming together if there's ever a question. I have yet to do a game with anybody that hasn't had a strong pregame, which I think is the most important part of your night. Been doing this for 11 years, and I think that is probably the biggest strong point of any strong referee is just to have a good pregame with your crew so you know what to expect going into that game.
All right, go ahead, Tony. Tony, you got something?
Yeah, I'm good. I was on my phone, so I don't know who was talking about the play where the free throw shooter was fouled. But
Rodney Bowden, go ahead.
the referee was 100% correct. If the player on the bottom space steps across the free throw line and fouls the shooter, that is a violation and a foul. You reshoot the free throw and then you assess the foul as well. Both of those are penalized. And I'm glad he said that you're never too old to learn, because the referee was 100% correct on that situation. And I'm trying to find the case book to point it out.
I'm gonna have to relook at that because what I found was different. So I'm gonna have to reissue. And if you find something, I will send you what I found, Tony, and you send me what you find, and we'll see what we can come out of this.
Well, that play was addressed when they changed the rule on it by Mark Driver was at the state clinic, and he addressed that specific situation where he said that you have the violation because he went into the lane, and then you have a foul because it's contact. A violation can't be contact.
That's 100%
Now, if he
correct.
makes
When they
the shot,
changed
would
that
it be
rule-
different?
Go ahead, say again.
Now, let's say if they violated, but then that person made this free throw, would that be a different outcome?
Yes, if he made the free, then you would ignore the violation.
Okay.
You would ignore if he stepped. But it's a violation to cross that free throw line before.
So did he bank
before
it
the
or
ball
miss
hits the
it? Like,
rim?
Okay, thanks, Tony. I appreciate that.
Good.
Yeah, I'll find a play and send it to Errol.
Right now, I'll send out to
Send it to
everybody.
everybody.
Thanks, Tony. That's right. I like to see that.
Yeah, again, see, that's what this is supposed to be about here. I mean, sometimes when you have a lot of times we get the story, we don't get the what, not complete. But everybody's saying it's true. It's true. It's true. Again, that's why we have. I mean, I say I don't like when we just limit to okay, we're gonna have this many claims to get this. It's not about just getting credit. We want to get this here. And I say again, Jane, Rodney, Jason, I mean, you come here, it's good that somebody is on the floor with us, who's been other places. Because some of us only know what this way, because we've only been here. But it's good when people come out and they come in and they listen to the pregame, they do this, and they go through that, and hey, they're gonna bring something and have maybe those little things to make us better. So again, I'm gonna like say, if you have a game.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I've been calling for several years and I've never ever seen that play before the entire time I've been calling. So like Tony said, I learned something new today. And because I've never saw it, I thought it went one way. And when I looked it up, I found it to say that it went that way. But Tony has something that says it goes another way, which probably overrides what I found. So I'll be glad to learn something new today. I really will be.
Right, but I'll tell you this, and that's what it was with this on happened from on Thursday night. That happened. The first thing say that we've never seen someone do that. That doesn't mean they don't have the, it's not within the rules. Somebody couldn't, they can't find it. That's why I keep asking. And it says this, said this. Like I say, it's a lot of things. Sometimes it's called discretion. Just like I say, we got some automatics, but we also have some other things. Look, hey, and everybody has different thoughts of. That's why I say, but they did get the crew credit. Say, look. They met. Now, one other thing was talked about in that game. They didn't tell me about no other foul. Hey, this, everybody unanimous was felt. I mean, on both sides, the game was well officiated. Again, guys, that's what we, you don't have to be perfect, but hey, you can do an excellent job without being perfect. And that's all I have. Unless anybody got anything for the good of the group. All these conference championships, if I would say, I did ask the NCISAA, the independent schools are having their state championships on the 26th of February. That is the Saturday we're going to have our sectional championship. And they're going to hold it at Mount Olive University for the 1A and 2A, and somewhere in Charlotte for the 3A and 4A on the 26th. I'll be talking to the commissioner for the NCISAA and see how they're going to work. Last year, they went into the whole site. I mean, in fact, our 1A boys from Northwood Temple played for the state championship. They were on the road. But if they made it, they weren't going to play at Northwood Temple. They had to move to another site.